Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 655. Today we'll be doing battle with Vanessa. And so, welcome back. Happy New Year. First video of 2025. We're actually going to be doing battle in the normals today. You can see up in that top left corner, we are up in Legend and Masters, whatever we call it within this game. But I think it's worthwhile to come in and jump through some of the normals, as it feels like the meta is extremely different here, not just in terms of the quality of the player, which I will concede does seem to be lower, but also in the sense that you tend to run into a lot more Vanessas. Simply due to the way that the game is designed, at least as far we should say as the open beta is designed, to where the grand founders, the people that purchase the beta, get to come in with enough gems to purchase all of the champions. But if you received a gifted key, you only started with Vanessa and no gems, and so you were kind of forced into the normal queues just because the economy pushed it out that way, and then there is no kind of event pass style of progression implemented into the game yet. And so it's been very interesting as you go into the ranked queues and face off against Dooley like 50% of the time, and then coming over into the normal queue and facing off against Vanessa the vast majority of the time. And so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun with this run, kick off to an interesting start here. And so at the beginning, a real turd of items for Vanessa, right? Narwhal is kind of okay. It would have been much more interesting in the previous patch, to where you were trying to find a lot more interactions with aquatics and friends to help pop off a pufferfish, but it's kind of relegated to being an early game weapon and like fringe aquatic target in this patch. And so not really amped with it. Same can be said with Pearl. We could look to pick up Silencer. You do have a lot of single item Vanessas within this patch, and it's probably just the best start, right? It's never bad. With Silencer, you just find a weapon and stick it next to the weapon, and the weapon immediately gets better, right? To where Narwhal isn't going to be useful after about like day 2 or 3 or 4 or so. And so I think that's probably the way to go. Up within this next set, not really excited about any of these. Picking up an ammo item is it's fairly high rolly, right? If we pick up a double barrel off of Colt, it wouldn't be that bad. But I think I'd rather just come in and pick up the bronze tier skill here, something that'll be useful and relevant throughout the remainder of the game, to where a lot of these are still just like relevant on day 10, right? All of these freeze skills that we magically had turn up here at the beginning are extremely relevant throughout the entirety of the game. And so won't be that useful at the start here, right? We're going to struggle on day 1, day 2 to win any of the battles, but if we can manage to get up and running after the early game portion, we should be pretty okay. So with this stuff, I think we'll just start. You probably want to either start with haste or with burn. I tend to find ourselves doing a lot of trebuchet builds, so the burn is kind of appealing, but I think we'd probably go after haste in literally every single build, so we'll just pick up the haste one as we do want to come out and fight the fight the burn battle. I think we would rather fight pyro and potentially get a lighter, potentially get a burn upgrade as opposed to the drone. And so let's get to battle, see what our silencer can do here today. So yeah, welcome to the new year, the first one of 2025, as we try and make our way through this battle here, wait on the sandstorm to hit. Hoping to get the content back up and running in the next week or so as the holiday season wraps up. The familial commitments aren't as high. I don't have to tell the family I'm going to go take a 2-hour break to record a YouTube video, and so I can get a little bit more consistency out here as far as these go. Speaking of the new year, though, it was brutal. I typically go to bed at like 8 or 9 o'clock now, and so staying up until midnight was a real pain point. But the extra pain point for this year was like we've been struggling to get the baby to go to sleep over the course of the past week or two, and we finally got him to go to bed at like 11:30, and we're super excited that we're going to get to watch the ball drop and everything. And then like as soon as midnight hit, one of the neighbors started blasting off some kind of like firework rocket cannon, and it was like, oh fuck. It's like we just spent the past 3 hours struggling to get this fucking baby to sleep, and now the rocket cannon's going to start going off next door. Fucking incredible. But He slept through it. It just scared the cats. It didn't wake up the baby, and then we got to go to sleep. And so, crisis averted on the old start of the new year. But what can we kick off with here? Like, weapon skill is fine. Again, it's something that can be fairly generic and work throughout the course of the game. There's no real small item we're looking for at this stage of the game. And so the big thing that we could pick up out of the weapon skill is going to be that thing that lets you scale up your crit. It didn't turn up here, but there's the one that it might be a silver skill, and we can't find it exactly at this point, but it gives you the 2% crit at the start of each fight, and it scales up throughout the course of the game. That really takes away a lot of the necessity of building towards Crow's Nest in a lot of builds, and so I do like to pick it up if it makes an appearance, but we do have another important one here in Iron Sharpens Iron, right? When you purchase a weapon, your leftmost weapon gets a +2 damage bonus. This is the place that Vanessa is really hurting as a fairly weapon-based champion at this stage of the game, as she doesn't have a lot of scaling opportunities. It's such a big deal if you go against like the Tent Master battle and picked up augmented weaponry, finding something like Iron Sharpens Iron, something that just lets you scale up the attack power on your weapons over the course of the game. So this is a very powerful one. I do like heavy weaponry since we do land on trebuchets so often, or you land on flagship builds. It ties in very nicely with both of those, but having this opportunity to scale up starting on day one is just going to be super, super important, even though we don't really have don't have any items to speak of at this point. I'm actually kind of leaning towards going towards crit skills here, just giving up on day one. If we can pick up that scaling thing at the start of the game, then it's just going to be off to a spectacular start. Again, I'm not 100% certain. I think it might be a silver skill and we just can't find it this early. I was willing to roll the dice because we can just sell off the lighter and have the 6 gold we would need to purchase a silver skill, but looks like our greed didn't pay off at this point, and so bit of a bummer there. I'm looking at just the one that gives crit to everything, and so your items have 3% crit, should be okay. I kind of prefer that early as opposed to something like Stunning Strike, which doesn't do a ton in the early game. This is much stronger on day 8, 9, 10 as it opposed on day 1, 2, 3. And so we'll just take the flat crit stuff, and then hopefully that'll tie into something a little bit later. But most certainly about to get smoked by this dually. we didn't pick up any way to win the battle, and so definitely going to get thrashed here against all AOC's feet picks. Clever, clever name coming at you. But one thing I did want to note as this battle rolls on is the thing with the silencer I noticed here in one of my previous runs is I thought that the silencer always just kind of had to hang out to the right of the weapon, right? So the first line, the weapon to the left of this gets 20 damage. The second line is with the cooldown reduction. If you have exactly one weapon, reduce its cooldown. And that cooldown reduction isn't tied to being next to the weapon. And so if you run into one of these situations to where maybe you want to put like a water wheel or a whatever it is, like boat wheel, any of the haste weapons that you want like directly next to items, you might prefer to have that over just the flat damage you get out of silencer, but you can still get the cooldown reduction without it being like next to your weapon. And so very, very interesting to have that possibility come up. But rolling forward here, kind of in shambles as it goes. Our economy is shit. We're about to come in and just lose this next PvE round. I really want to pick up the haste item, but I feel like we need to go into Andy, at least find something to give us a bit of direction with how our day is going to go here. Happy enough to pick up Switchblade, but this is a fairly crappy set of items otherwise, since we're not going to actually kill anything with this Switchblade, and then we're going to run out of ammo with the bolus and the grenade. So I think we're stuck just taking a roll. Maybe we'll come in and find Piranha or something, and fuck me. This is just falling apart here. I guess we can pick the lighter upgrade. It's not exactly where I want to be, but we might get a weapon or something out of this level up. Burn things kind of helps. To where we can go into this next PvE round and not just automatically lose. Bit of a disaster of a start here. I think we're stuck taking item. I shouldn't say it's a disaster of a start. I should say that we were overly greedy in in our start, and now we're hurting. All right, let's see here. Let's sell off these two flame things. I'm fine to get the lighter up and running that way. I just don't think we could beat Tent City Mayor. This is the one that has that augmented weaponry that we would want to find, but I'm not super convinced that we're going to deal enough damage. I guess the Switchblade's dealing a lot more damage than I'm giving it credit for. So we'll go ahead and roll the dice on the Tent City Mayor here. Like, I'm not certain how strong we need to be to beat this round. You don't have to worry about the dog killing you. It's more about being able to outpace the damage that he gets on the shields from the temporary shelter. And so, if we can reasonably drop his damage here, we might be able to get that win when the sandstorm hits. Yeah, I think if we had forever, like if sandstorm wasn't a thing, I think we would probably win this round. But we're going to be too slow with the sandstorm hitting. Fuck. But I don't think we would beat the coconut crab either. We definitely wouldn't beat the 30 health. Yeah, I need 2 more ticks. We definitely not beat the rightmost round there. Whew, all right, this is brutal. It's just getting savaged out here. And so let's start this round off with the slow item. Our economy is still shitty. I'm not really interested in aquatic items. Let's just take the thing for free, and hopefully it's useful. Bolas is kind of okay. Now we finally get our first abandoned chest, pick up a little bit of money, a little bit of experience. Still hurting pretty hard at this point. But, it is what it is. What more can you make it be? What more can you make it be? And so, I think this is okay. Want to keep the silencer damage on the switchblade. We guess we could just move the bolas out to the edge and keep the 6 damage on the iron sharpens iron on the switchblade. It's not a huge deal, but I would say we're more likely to get at least 2 attacks in with the switchblade, to where the lack of attacks on the bolus just isn't going to cut it out here. I mean, we might realistically just prefer to keep the bolus out so that we get to keep the cooldown reduction on the switchblade. I don't know. Some nerd can do the math on that. I'm pretty certain with my quick brain math that the cooldown reduction is going to be the preferred thing here. Yeah, we're just going to get smoked this round. I saw the double barrel and got a little bit excited, but the cutlass is most certainly going to come in and crush us. So, new year, great start. Welcome to Battles with Bust, where somebody tunes into the old Battles with Bust channel for the first time, and they see us out here on day 2 with this piranha net build. So this guy's just a dum-dum. What a waste of time this has been. But now, hopefully we can turn it around from here. Again, it's not real disaster mode, just losing out on the first 2 days of battle. The thing that I don't like doing that for is the way that the game kind of progresses as you get into just like the nuttier, obnoxious high roll builds the further days that you get into the game. So if you're battling on day 10 or day 11, you haven't had the opportunity to probably lose, so you don't have any of those just free enchants. But then you don't run into the builds that have like 4 and 5 enchantments and just a bunch of rando diamond stuff, because they've seen an extra like 12, 14 shops over the course of the game. And so I don't exactly strive for getting 10 wins, perfect games. It's cool if it comes together, but I would definitely rather be attempting to win on day like 10, 11, 12 as opposed to day 14 or 15, because it just feels like those super nutty builds turn up on day 15 and you just accidentally lose quite a bit. But moving forward, I think we want to continue on with the Lost Crate here, get the money, get the experience points. Hopefully we'll find something that gives us a little bit of direction. There was an ammo shop there. I don't really like chasing after ammo shops when we need to like hit, right? If we like roll into the ammo shop and find, I don't know, like a gold double barrel, that would be strong. We could afford it and everything, but outside of that, it's too easy to run into the battles and then just deal like half your opponent's health and not have any ammo anymore. And so I would prefer to. Um, I would prefer to not count on ammo, and we would really be looking for like a large item shop. But we still have decent stuff to build towards, right? We can kind of build into this lighter. It works with flagship. It works with weather glass. And so we at least have a decent kind of build aroundy item right here. Having the silencer kind of pushes me towards wanting to do flagship kind of things, and so it's probably what we'll be looking for here in the early game. I do want to go ahead and just I want to go to that crit skills place to pick up crit type things, pick up that one skill that we're really looking for, but it just seems too greedy at this point. So I'm going to pick up the bolus. It does help with the iron sharpens iron. We're probably going to be slotting it in right now. Got to pick up the jellyfish. Not really interested in using it, but it's very cheap at the moment. And then if we do come across a way with like weather glass or something, or with flagship to where we want either the friend on board or the poison item on board, we've already got our hands on it. So we'll take that. I'll go ahead and pick up the catfish as well. Just same kind of deal with that in mind. Now, we do get to go up to battle against the Tempest Flame Dancer. I'm a little concerned that we can't deal enough damage fast enough to get the takedown on him. And so maybe this is okay. We're not going to have any aquatic items to activate the jellyfish. I guess we could do something like this to where we have the jellyfish to the left of the piranha, but I think I would prefer to just have the silencer on the piranha. I'm curious if the slow onto the cutlasses is kind of worth it here, and so let's just stick with it this way. I think this is okay. The opportunity to win one of these cutlasses is a pretty big deal. I just worry that we don't have enough DPS to win the race here. Like, as those bolas cut out, our DPS just fucking tanks. But got a little bit of poison. The burn coming from the lighter is very real. I think we've got this one as a takedown here, and so we can definitely get some real direction if we actually win one of these cutlasses. Maybe the turns will table a little bit. Nice. Okay, okay. Let's see what we can do. Now large items turns up. I'm on board. Let's see what life brings us today. And so all of the options turn up, right? Crow's Nest is here. You can do the single item build off of the fiery cutlass with the Crow's Nest. I'm a huge fan of just picking up coves as far as an economic item goes. And then the trebuchet is going to be your most common build around as far as Vanessa goes within this patch. It just works fantastically with what a lot of stuff you want to be doing naturally, just generating haste, generating burn, and so I do like it, but you know, we did just pick up the cutlass. I think I'm going to take Crow's Nest here and see if we can't just get that cutlass build going. We have great scaling on the cutlass with this iron sharpens iron, so we can dedicate, you know, weapon burn to, or weapon things to it. These burn stack whatevers can go onto it as well. We don't need to immediately throw away our lighter. I think this is going to be fairly decent, and so I'm going to pick up both of these here. I think the Crow's Nest and the Cove are reasonable additions. Recent as well, since we just picked them up. But let's see what we can do. I'm just going to sell off bolas, sell off switchblade, sell off the fish, get us room for this Crow's Nest in here. I mean, we might even find ourselves just using the Cove here at this point. But let's see. Let's hold off on that. And so now we can jump into the skills. You know, if we pick up a burn skill for 3 gold, that's pretty good. Is this the Iron Sharpens Iron upgrade? Pretty decent as well. Don't have large burn at the moment. So yeah, let's take the Iron Sharpens Iron upgrade. All right, but up against Pig, 1 slot left. I guess we'd probably just go with the catfish in this one, since we'll never get the haste on the jellyfish. Seems better just having the catfish as opposed to the fishing net making us lose the lighter. Seems reasonable. I like where we're at. things things have definitely turned since the beginning of the day. I was very concerned at the beginning of the day, beginning this nice pivot over to the cutlass style burn build. Definitely feels nice. All right, some kind of Ganjo blasting pig here. We should be more than okay against this. He needs to scale up his shields for the damage to come out on his whatever this is, spiked buckler, but the burn really tags down his ability to scale, right? Since burn does wipe out the shields. If we were dealing poison, we might have to worry about it, but dealing burn, not that big of a deal. So okay, up and running, and so I would love to be going to Curio. This is one of the stronger shops for us, since we are trying to level up this iron sharpens iron. Just purchasing a weapon for essentially 1 gold that upgrades the skill, but also dumps some extra damage on the cutlass is quite good. I just worry about this going into the round with only $6, being able to effectively purchase out of the Curio. So I think I'm going to let it go. We can at least get a weapon out of the docks. It's not spectacular, but again, it's going to help level up that iron sharpens iron, help with our economy for just a moment. So what do we got here? Poison, coconuts, burn. Definitely got to be looking for burn and damage. And so I'm pretty okay with just being all in on the cutlass at this point. So that upgrade feels fine. Chocolate bars are pretty decent at this stage as well. If we get rid of some of these crappy items in here, we get to get the chocolate bars for free and then sell them and have that kick back as 5 gold later whenever we do sell the Cove. And so that's a bit of a nice addition there as well. Coming up in this next round, I think it was in the last video or maybe the one before it, I didn't think it was actually possible to land the energy potion off of this battle. That was wrong. I actually got it recently. It feels like it used to be bugged, right? You used to hit it way more than the, what is this, like 10%, 15% chance you have to hit the energy potion here, but it does come back to feeling like a much more worthwhile battle knowing that you can hit it. With like multi-tool being okay, that being great, both of the skills being good, the 2 upgrade items, like this is still a fairly strong round to be partaking in. So that looks good. Let's go to Kev's Armory here, see if we spike an interesting shielded item. We did not, kind of a bummer there. And then you got 1 shop to go before the next PvP round. We are still kind of turdy with some of these items, right? I'm not super excited about either of these jellyfish. The multi-tool's not super exciting, but our options here aren't that great. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and pick up the Lost Crate. Still kind of give up on the day, but the experience and the money is just too good to be passing up on. Wow, up against another level 4 Vanessa. It was like, if that would have leveled us up for the PvP round, I would have auto-stapped that item. But what are we up against here? Just wow, the sniper rifle is just strong enough to kill us without even critting. We got a freeze come in, but it definitely didn't hit the right item. About to get smoked. Dang, that's upgraded heavy, right? Well, I guess it's gold at this point, but he had weights. Weights is the other scaling attack kind of thing, like iron sharpens iron. What do we got here? Plus damage out at the end. Okay. Feeling a little bit better about this, though. Looks like we got chocolate bars turning up again. I dig it. Our money is, fairly fixed at this point, so that's good as well, right? We've got that 32 gold in the bank, 23 gold in the Cove, so we're pretty locked and loaded for dropping a big chunk of change if we need to. But here, I think the Deadly Duel is going to be the way to go. We should be able to beat most of these PvE rounds at this point. This Cutlass is quite strong. At this, like, we're really just looking for a way to get some haste going on this Cutlass, and so we've got, essentially 4 hexes of space between the catfish, the jellyfish, the lighter, and the multi-tool. We just kind of want something to make the cutlass attack faster, and then we want something to make it deal more damage. And so we'll try to keep that in mind as we go up against these future shops. But here, not super interested in Mod Squad. Don't want any of the friend items. The Harkovian Rocket Trooper is okay. He does better with like large item stuff. He's got that heavy weaponry upgrade inside. So we'll just go with the Preening Duelist. I don't get really excited about all of these ammo items, but they do help quite a bit if we want to add in some support items, right? So if we find that we want a like pop snappers or something, having access to like the gunpowder or the powder flask gives us some bonuses there. If we wanted to cut away from the cutlass and say switch to a ship, then having access to like the multi-tool or the ammo items could be important there as well. All right, but that didn't land. So let's see here. Let's see what upgrades we can get. We do want to continue to purchase out these weapons, and so throwing knife is good. Shoe blade's going to be good. Don't want the fishing net. Revolver's fine. Kind of interested in harpoon. That's the sort of thing I was talking about, picking up, say, like cannonball and stuff. I don't want harpoon in an end game fiery cutlass build, but I also don't want these jellyfish right now. And so I think picking up cannonball harpoon's not the end of the world at this space. We've got plenty of money to spend on this stuff as it is. So that looks good. Upgrade your item. Very tough to upgrade these cutlasses, so I think, man, it's so tough. Like, you want to get the upgrades on it, but if we get too far along without upgrading our crow's nest, it's just never going to upgrade, right? If we're just seeing like gold items within the shop and we're stuck with the bronze crow's nest, I think we need to come and upgrade this one. Okay. So that seems fine. How are we looking now? Let's just sell off this stuff we're never going to use. Trying to think if we want to go to medium items, try and find a haste type thing for the fiery cutlass, or if we want to pick up the experience. I find it fairly easy to pass on the just one experience point, but the experience point plus gold always just feels so strong to me. All right, I think this is reasonable enough against Vanessa. Having the life steal to drag out these battles and keep the harpoon launcher relevant. Kind of interesting. See if we even get any uses out of it here. I think we're safe. It's not like a big double barrel build blasting at us, but he is going to be scaling up that burn off of his trebuchet. Blew up something. Got him before it was relevant. Okay. Definitely prefer to have I would much rather have a 2 ammo no cannonball harpoon as opposed to say like even this cannonball putting infinite abilities onto the harpoon. Just I don't at bronze it's definitely not activating more than once, and so see how that plays out. But moving forward, we can jump into the large items here. Wouldn't be opposed to something like water wheel. I don't think we convert over to flagship. Like, we could. We definitely didn't save any we didn't save any upgrades for the flagship, but we are pretty close to just having all of the abilities for it, and then we're getting a lot of our stats out of Iron Sharpens Iron, right? So this is going to be a 47 damage flagship. Probably just want to convert over. It's just going to be so much better in the late game. Let's go ahead and snatch that one up. I know we wasted like a few burn things on the cutlass and on the stuff otherwise, but it seems like this is where we're gonna need to be at the end of the day. Let's see, we sell jellyfish, we get the fucking fit. Jesus Christ, it shouldn't be that bad. Alright, so we're here, we've got a tool. We're short an ammo item at the moment. We've got the friend and the catfish. We could look to put the harpoon in if we take the silencer out, which probably worth at the moment. Okay, I don't hate it. And now we can look to tie to flagship as opposed to tying to that cutlass, which I think the cutlass would be fine over the course of the next few days, but it's definitely not an end game style of thing at this point. I think the flagship's just way better, especially once you get to the point to finding on use abilities. Like there's the skill that, like, when you use an aquatic item, you haste a weapon, and then that just puts the 5 hastes directly onto flagship. Like, those cycles tend to work much better than you get out of the cutlass. But here we can pick up the rifle, continue to scale that iron sharpens iron. Not willing to spend the money on a submarine. See if we pick anything else up in here. We'll purchase all of this. We're gonna have to make a little bit more space. Rip Firely Cutlass, you did your thing for a couple of rounds. you helped salvage our day. You brought us some hope and experience and love. I just don't think you're going to make it the rest of the way. So that looks good. With these, this is a fairly odd battle. The foreman, it seems like he has vehicle stuff, but it's not very good. It's either cooldown reduction for the mosquito or... Ooh, the dire mosquito does slow stuff. We'll just fight the lone shark. I'm pretty certain that we get the takedown here.
What's that eye smelling?
The scaling can be tough to deal with when your damage is slow. Right? We're not dealing immediate scariness with our flagship here. And so we might actually end up losing to the shark raid. The heal that we get brings me a little bit of hope, but looks like I think we're gonna barely get it. Nope. Fuck me. We had like half a second left on the flagship. We need to get the harpoon out of here and pick up a water wheel or something. Oh, that's brutal. So we need like a small ammo item and then the tool to replace the harpoon. Let's just shop tools and see what turns up. I guess globe is always useful. And the next set, don't really need weapons at this point. We'll take up, oh shit, take up the skills.
This world is full of noise.
Oh, what a sad round. I want to go back and fight the insect just to get that little bit of that extra little bit of experience. But here, creeping toxins is okay. We'll keep the catfish in the whole game. Giving it +7 poison is pretty decent. And this next set, sharpening stones, going to be what we're looking for here. Oh, we got upgrade your leftmost silver though. Keep that crow's nest upgrading. Much rather get the percent from the crow's nest as opposed to the flat damage that comes out of the flagship. Now here, I mean, we can drop the harpoon out. Maybe that's just the way to do it. All right, putting the silencer in, putting the multi-tool in, losing the multi-strike off the flagship, but getting the fairly shitty ammo item out of our build. Like, if it was a, 5-second harpoon, whatever you get at diamond, it's probably worthwhile, but even against this, like, very heavy small item user, like, I have a hard time imagining I'd be excited about that like one item destruction over the course of the game.
Like my crew says at the bar.
Fucking annihilated this Vanessa. It's so, I don't know. I guess the hindsight was pretty good in that one, but oof. All right, what do we got here? Let's keep stacking up these skills. We do need small items, but it's just like we need a small ammo item at this point. So I think it's okay to kind of skip past it. Having the 4-stack flagship kind of enough. Incendiary rounds. Oh, it's when you use an ammo, not the right one. There's the one that when you use your leftmost item, you put burn, and it kind of stacks nicely with flagship. But here, do we get anything useful out of this stuff? Freeze to poison's probably the one. This is the thing in the game that I think, excuse me, kind of needs fixed, right? In the sense that the first time, I mean, I guess there is strategy to it, right? But the first time you buy a skill, it's just so much more impactful than when you buy the upgrade, right? So getting creeping toxins to put the +7 poison on the pufferfish for 12 gold, fantastic deal. Very, very, very strong deal. But going from 7 to 9 for 12 gold just isn't super worth it, right? It feels like the values are bunched too closely together. to make me ever want to do this. And so what you see a lot in games like Teamfight Tactics is they really kind of decide if something should be good in the early game or something should be good in the late game. And instead of having the skills jump, like, if you're going to allocate, say, 9 poison at the diamond tier level, it may not upgrade like 3, 5, 7, 9. So like rank 1 is at 3, rank 4 is at 9. It kind of staggers how it's going to go. And so like the bronze level may only give 1, the silver one may give 2, and then the gold one might give 5, and then the diamond one might give 9. And so there's a bit of flexibility in the amount of skill points given out, to where you have a little bit more decision making in terms of is this a good early game skill? Is this a good late game skill? Is this worth leveling up, and things like that, to where it feels like with every single skill in the game right now, like, the freezes tick up 1 second, the creeping toxins all tick up 2. It just doesn't feel like the tuning has been put in place there. And so I'm sure that's most certain that's something that we'll see over the course of time, but right now it feels just kind of off, right? The only time I ever want to pick up this extra 2 poison is if we're just on, say, day 12 and we have 100 gold and we need to spend the gold on something. But right now it's not worth it, and it's just never better than getting this initial pickup of the bronze freeze on poison. And so I'm certain. Like, I'm curious the amount of time it would really take the game to kind of like hit its stride. It's so painful to see the game at this stage. Like, if you don't like the game at this stage, if you like the kind of gameplay loop but you don't like the state of the game, like, come back in a year. Like it took probably Teamfight Tactics like a year and a half, 2 years to really like start hitting their stride on the things that worked and get the numbers right. It's like such a complex system that even with the best game designers in the world, they most certainly didn't get it right, and they most certainly didn't get it right after the first couple of sets. But Morton team have done like really fantastic things with Teamfight Tactics over any of the times I've played it over the course of the past few sets. And I expect the same out of the Bazaar. Just such a learning curve to getting things right. If you like the gameplay loop but you don't like the state of the game right now, if you're really upset about lizards, come back in 6 months, come back in a year. I'm really sure they're going to get it polished and nice by then. But nonetheless, moving forward, let's hit up the docks. I'm not really amped about just jumping to the weapon shop when we only want the 1 weapon for the remainder of the game. We can come in and keep trying to spike these tools, see if something interesting hits. Mortar and pestle, kind of interesting. It gives us that opportunity to kind of break away from Crow's Nest, right? When I was talking earlier about really loving that scaling item, or that scaling skill in terms of crit, because it lets us get away from having to use Crow's Nest. And so that would give us the opportunity to use like Mortar and Pestle as our lifesteal thing, and then free up one of the hexes on our board, but we don't have that skill. We're kind of stuck with Crow's Nest the rest of the way. All right, with this stuff, though, let's fight the Shock Trooper. It is a decent shop with that middle bird. If you land this skill, it has that when you crit haste skill. And then you get 5 crits out of the flagship attack. But I think we need to catch up at least a little bit here in terms of the experience points. We're going to get the takedown before the burn rake pops off. Okay, we're fine. It's not a bad place for incendiary rounds to turn up. Putting that next to the flagship is decent.
Too much treasure,
Oh,
not
no
enough
space.
chest.
All right, what's up next? Large items, always looking good to me. Definitely want to get these big upgrades. Didn't land. Too expensive for the iron sharpens iron, so we'll skip that. Here's the plus damage. Okay, gotta take the quick check to see if we're going to hit on the level up, but not here. All right, so damage coming in, easy peasy. Next set, I'm still very interested in finding a tool. It's like we don't even have to have the ammo item, but I really want to find one of these haste tools if we can. I don't think we need star chart. We'll take the upgrade to lighter though.
Now inspire the crew.
All right, up against Dooley.
We're out to dethrone a king.
Okay,
not to
okay.
squabble with nobodies.
What is this red Dooley out here hitting us with the little nanobot friends? He's got a massive crit coming at us. Where'd that even come from? I guess that would be out of the large item friend that he has. All right, not a bad round, but yeah, we definitely need to find a haste tool. It's taking way too long to get our boat up and running. So we're going to look for haste items out of things like Talk Clocks. We're going to look for skills as well. I think the skills at this point are probably just the way to go. If we pick up like haste aquatics at the start of the battle, that's exactly what we're going to be looking for. So it doesn't turn up here at the start. Let's take a roll, see if we can't make it show up. Didn't. Iron sharpens iron is here. Lots of decent things, but I think we want the scaling out of iron sharpens iron. Just take it up to the max. Now here, don't want weapons. Probably get the slow freeze skill out of this one. Oh, we don't have crit yet. Crit's a fairly easy one to take. Want all of the slows, but the crit's probably the most relevant one. You have haste, that's important in the sense that if you do have that round start kind of thing, just immediately freezing the opposing items is quite good. After that, we probably just want the crit one. All right, so here there is burned stuff in the Infernal Frigate. Kind of interested in it a little bit more than the Robo Bouncer, but it's tough. Like I'm gonna go to the Robo Bouncer. It's just I want that little bit extra bit of experience. None of these items are ever relevant to where that middle shop has some good stuff, but I feel like our limiting factor at this point to where we don't have like the bonkers flagship builds is that we just need all of that extra health, right? We need that buffer. If we can start to get, you know, these back-to-back 800 damage crits that heal ourselves back up, we're in pretty good shape, but we got to have like the health buffer to make that kind of thing work. So leveling up just feels pretty important here. Now with this fairly weak set of stuff, it's burn or bad cooldowns. I think we'll just pick up the burn. Hey, I have a tough time seeing us ever getting rid of this lighter. Oh shit, did we... Fuck, we lost one. God damn it. Oops. Alright, well. Here, let's jump into the aquatic items. There's not as much as we want, but we can come in and find the water wheel kind of thing. Piranha's okay. I don't think we're ever going to Illusory Ray. You can land on, say, like the... I guess we have a ton of money at this point. Let's just pick it up in case. It's this. Give an item an enchantment. Don't mind if I do. Now, this is tough on where you want to put it. If we want to put it on the flagship or the crow's nest, the most important upgrade that you can get in this build, I'm not certain which is better. There's actually two really important ones, right? If you get a deadly, putting deadly onto crow's nest is just fucking bonkers. It makes your crits deal double damage. And so that's like the big one. The other big one's going to be putting Radiant on the flagship, just so it can't be frozen or slowed. I think we'll just load up the flagship. The on-hit effects with it are so good that I think the random one here probably just has the most potential, right? Landing on poison, not that bad. And so, all right, maybe we'll get those big poison stacks up and running. Show the lizard how it's done. Okay. Up against a crook pig, but he doesn't have Addle, so we have a bit of time to get up and running with our stuff here. See if the things sequence right. What I think this battle comes down to, well, as we just take like a murder hit from the dog, barely got it nice. It is the order that the strikes hit, right? And so if you ever played StarCraft, I mean, there's no like way to edit it here, but when you played StarCraft, like it was one of the most common things to do in the game for the lower skilled players was you would just select your entire army and then tell them to attack somewhere. And then with the way that, like the pathing and the AI worked, is your entire army would run at your opponent in a straight line, and so all of your opponent's defenses just had to like shoot the first unit in the line, and the first next unit in the line, and the next unit in the line, and the next unit in the line, and it was just like a big river of death as all of the units ran in, to where once you like got better at micromanaging your units, you would figure out how to send them in like one big wave and try and flank and wrap around your opponent so that they couldn't just shoot one unit at a time. They had to basically focus their fire on all of your units and take them down in like more chunk space. And that's what you see with a lot of the crook builds is if your items line up to where all of your 6-second cooldown items hit at the same time. So like dog is a 6-second cooldown, flail's a 6-second cooldown. If those are all like spiking right at the same time, then he was just going to chunk us 100 to 0. But with like the freezes hitting and the ways things were going, he was hitting for like a third of our health and then a third of our health, and then we were healing back up, and then he was hitting for a third and then hitting for a third. And so he wasn't able to direct all of his damage before our heal could come in. And so I feel like we got probably pretty lucky with how our freezes landed that round. All right, up next though, let's just keep trying to pick up something useful as far as the hastes go. Could pick up Sextant. It feels it's tough, and so there's a lot of interesting things here, both with the Sextant and the dock lines. Dock lines being a tool, like I'm fairly fine with multi-tool at the moment. It's just these are things that are gonna like maybe carry us to 7 wins, right? We have like 2 more losses in us before we're knocked out. I feel like with the way that this is progressing, we can probably get to 7. And there's nothing wrong with just shooting for that. If we're wanting to go for 10, probably need something like Sextant in the mix to where whenever we hit with the flagship, it's going to crit because of our crow's nest. So like 4 shots out of the toxic flagship is going to give us 4 crits or 4 hastes out of the Sextant, and then that's ideally going to be like scaling up the catfish and making our other shots go. And so it's like we can pull silencer, we can pull multi-tool and get Sextant in. The downside to that is we lose this like cooldown reduction off of the silencer. And so I think we want to pick up the Sextant and then maybe just wait a little bit, see if we can't pick up Aquatic Rush. And then if we do get Aquatic Rush, take the multi-tool out, or maybe we just take the lighter out. Maybe that's the way to actually go about it, is to take out lighter, take out multi-tool, and put the Sextant in. Also manages to put a bunch of crit on the catfish, and so we can be this kind of poisony style build, if you will. I think I'm okay with that for the moment. Otherwise, I'm going to take the health here. I think we're getting closer and closer to being in this space to where max health is just going to be pretty good. We just need that survivability, right? As we kind of saw with that crook round. We just need to smooth out the damage to let the flagship really come in and do the work. So I think that's okay. We can probably beat Death Knight Reaper here. I feel like he does do big chunk damage. He has that minus 1/3 health coming off of the scythe, but I think once we get these hastes up and running, we're gonna be okay, and we're gonna get enough poison in to kind of scale through this. Got him up to 62 poison. Not that bad for a build that's not dedicated to doing poison stuff. See if we get one more hit in before he gets to recover 1k health. Nope, didn't do it. But our lifesteal is helping to carry. It's nice seeing our haste stacks survive through all these freezes. Whew, okay. What do we got here? The Mortal Coil, not using that. What do we got? Aquatics. Looks like that's where we're stuck. None of these other things really do it. Citrus, shields and stuff. Aquatic cooldowns it is, and so let's do this nonsense. Got to pull the silencer out, then put the bonus in, and then bring the silencer back, so it gets the reduction on that bigger number. Now here, no need for medium items. We can go to crit skills. Okay, okay, what you got for us? When you crit, your heal items do something. Look at this, man. Look at that honed arsenal. 5% crit for each weapon you have. Get that 24 gold for 5% crit on our items. Oh, just all garbage. We'll put the extra second on Stunning Strike. Now we got the burn skills. We don't have any burn stuff right now, but you can still get useful things, right? Stout Fire, not the right one. Oh, yeah, it is. When you gain burn, you get the bonuses. So if we're up against a burn dually, that can be useful. Not too excited about these other ones. When you crit, your burn items scale. Not going to be interested in it either, but Stout Fire should be okay. And up against Vanessa. Whew, all right, let's see if this starts to pay off.
I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago. My fight isn't with you, but if you insist.
What you got for us? A bunch of small items. Very, very late to be seeing Power Sander out here. I think we're doing okay now. It's like once we get that initial shot in and we're not dead, then I feel pretty good about what's happening with us.
Land legs make you predictable. You move in straight lines.
On to day 10. What do we got? No need for gumballs in this build. Guess we can look at the haste items. Maybe something crazy comes with the turbo. Something crazy with the turbo. All right, here we go. Try that again.
I was expecting you 0.5 seconds ago.
Nope, nothing crazy with the turbo. Random slow stuff. Okay. Next set, we can risk some coin. Just come in and get those experience points. Guarantee that we're getting that level up here. Ooh, upgrade your leftmost item. Another interesting set. Like, we don't need to upgrade Crow's Nest at the moment if we're going to stick with this Sextant, which I think will probably carry on, for the remainder of the game. We should probably upgrade Flagship. I was going to say, I want to push up like the Catfish and the Silencer. It's like the Catfish isn't super important. It's like when it levels up, it only gets +1 poison, so it's not a big deal. But like upgrading the Silencer to both get the cooldown, which is important, and also make the future upgrades more readily available. But I worry about not getting this Flagship up the diamond. I think we gotta just take it. Now here, none of these are super interesting. Trying to think if we can actually beat a Void Colossus with the Caltrops. Probably not. And if he blows up the right item, we're just kind of fucked. So we'll fight the Hulking Experiment this round. Oh, but yeah, one of the interesting things I saw out there in the world, there's a couple of people making like deck trackers for this game. I'll eventually pick something up. I kind of want to just give some time to see what shows up out there. That there tends to be something both, official and professional that turns up. It's always kind of scary just, jumping into some like college students, project and expecting it to last for long periods of time. As much as I absolutely abhor Mobalytics as a company, like that, the stability that they bring is, fairly important as far as, getting kind of invested in one of these apps. And right now, it's like some of them feel like college projects. Some of them feel like the way that they access the game data is just going to get thrown away. And I'm just kind of curious to wait a little bit and see what turns up. But that said, like one of the kind of college project versions of the trackers out there at the moment has kind of put forth some of like the win rate data that they have. And it's fairly interesting seeing right now. What's his name? Like Dooley is at like a 38% win rate in any given battle, and then both Vanessa and Pig are at like a 16% win rate. They're basically half of what you see out of Dooley, and I assume in an ideal balanced world, all of those would be at 33%. Right? There's 3 merchants in the game. If they have a 50% win rate, as you have to have a winner each round. Then they would be close to 50-50, and so 50-50 win rates on 3 merchants should get them at a 33% in total. And then what you always see with these trackers is that people that care about getting good and winning and stuff are the people that are installing trackers, and so they tend to be a little bit better than the people that aren't. And so the win rates are skewed a little bit towards the people that install trackers versus the people that don't. And so it should technically be a little bit higher. But it was interesting to see that Dooley was just like so much stronger than all of the other champions at this point. Essentially twice as strong. And so I'm curious to see how that plays out in the future patches and kind of the design philosophy around how powerful a champion is allowed to be. Right, there's always going to be a best champion, but you know, would you really say like a 40% win rate Dooley is kind of like peak what you'd let happen? Right, if 33 is the average, then 40 is, you know, the best that he's allowed to get before they come in and start nerfing. Or I'm curious how the design philosophy of that will go and how that'll pan out. All right, though, tough round there. Opponent had Bonk. He had a lot of scaling. We're not particularly good against the scaling style of Pygmalions. It's one of the things that I found in ranked as to where it was very frustrating playing Pygmalion in that you had to go Crook because Dooley, you can only beat Dooley with Crook builds, but all of the bad builds that aren't capable of beating Dooley tend to just crush the Crook builds. And so opponents like that just had the big scaling coming out of their shields, you literally can't beat with a flagship, you can't beat with a Crook, but those builds absolutely cannot beat a Dooley ever. And so it's always kind of odd and interesting to see those turn up because they're so bad in the meta right now. It's just like rock, paper, scissors is not balanced in this meta. It's just like you play rock so many times that going paper or going scissors just isn't worth it. But is what it is. He got us here. But we landed on the Deadly Enchant. We'll get that up on our Crow's Nest. Just actual double damage for us the rest of the game with our guaranteed crits out of the flagship now dealing double damage out of the Crow's Nest. Gotta dig that. Let's see what we can do the rest of the way here. Don't have the burn items anymore. Could just take the rando loot items, but we'll probably want to just take the cooldown at this point. That feels like it's a little too late in the party to go for like the dice roll on the loot items.
This is why I wear red, so the crew won't see me bleed.
Okay, decent stuff though. So, got that. Now we have some interesting stuff. I'm fairly okay with just like purchasing a bunch of chocolate bars the rest of the way, but the small item shop I don't think we can pass on. We want to get catfish, we want to get silencer. We could look to pick up jellyfish, but it doesn't scale, so we're going to pass on it. Also, any small weapon we can still sell, level up the iron sharpens iron, and so we'll see if we can do that. Nothing turned up with it. We'll go to Bazaar, just take the experience points from it. And then now in the next set of battles, I'm a little interested in Boss Haro. He has the skill that when you use a non-weapon item, you slow it for 2 seconds, which is pretty strong with us since we don't care too much about the catfish. But it's so tough to pass on the 5 experience points out of Veteran Octopus. Like this is another place that I'm pretty certain we'll see better tuning for in the future, as to where we either need a realistic chance of losing the octopus round, or you know, it very rarely feels like a real decision in between like a 10% chance at a good skill and a guaranteed chance at 5 experience points. And so got our victory here. All right, tiny cutlass it is. At least we get that bonus to iron sharpens iron, right? Now what do we got? None of the real bonuses in here, plus damage off the sharpening stone. I guess that's a fairly easy take. Okay, next set. What we got in here? Garbage. Don't need medium items, don't need ammo items. Like, I can't imagine at this point. I guess we could cut out silencer for like one of the 1 hex ammo items, but they're so bad. It's like the shield one which we don't really want, and then it's a bunch of weapons that are gonna mess up our life steals. So we'll just skip past that. We'll take the, I guess we can go to medium items and try and just get weapons. They're so expensive at this point, right? I'm not gonna spend essentially 16 gold, the 32 on the shark claw, 16 refund on the cell, just to put 4 damage on our weapon. I guess just is what it is at this point. Skip past all this. I got haste skills. See if that aquatic rush turns up. Beautiful, beautiful. So this is the big things we're looking for, right? Aquatic rush. It's a little high rolly at this point, since we have the secondary aquatic item in catfish, but the level 2 on this does haste 2 separate weapons, which gives us that guaranteed haste right at the beginning on the flagship. Sick burn, we're not here with the weather glass, we can skip it. And then Flurry of Blows is very powerful with some of these builds, but we have to get these oceanic rushes up and running. So hopefully we just spike the good one right at the start. We hit the flagship, we make it through the round, and then we can hopefully find the second half of it on the next day. Dude's got bonk, kind of tough to fight against. We did get the good haste right at the beginning, which then ties into the freeze on the opponent. He doesn't have cool LEDs at this point, which is pretty huge for us as well. Looking at the stats, it seems like essentially the best dually item in the game right now is cool LEDs. And I started to get really upset with cool LEDs as we were playing a bunch of Pygmalion. It just annihilates all of the crook builds, and seeing it spread out is not crazy, but it's essentially one of the best dually items in the game, if not the best. All right, though, we got upgrades. Guess we'll upgrade the flagship. You know, I don't think the high rolls to Catfish or Silencer are too likely at this point. We're running out of time anyways. If we get to the 7th win, I know it doesn't feel spectacular in free-to-play mode now when you don't have any progression outside of getting to 10 wins or 0, but that's gonna change quickly. So I'm very curious to see how things pan out, right? The ladder system place, the legend system in place right now, it's both not the final version. Like Reynad basically said, we could release the legend rank as is and have it affect like 0.5% of the players, or we could just leave it out and just not deal with it until later. And they went ahead and put it in because it only affected such a small number of players. But I'm curious to see how the system plays itself out, in the sense that you don't know what the strategy looks like to be proper at the moment. Should I be shooting for 10 wins? Should I be shooting for 7 wins? Is there a big difference in, say, starting out 0-5 and then going on a tear, as opposed to maybe starting out 7-0 and then losing 2 rounds in a row, right? Since like one build lost early heavily, but had more losses than the other one that lost less later. I'm curious to see how the kind of mathematics to it, right? Because nobody knows what the actual strategy is in terms of being good right now. And so I found it pretty impossible to climb at this point as well. Like I know that there are people hanging out at the top ranks, and I'm sure that they're doing something right that we're just not doing right whatsoever. But it seems like it's so like heavily skewed towards going like 10 wins. It feels like if I get 10 wins, I go up 100 ranks, and if I get like 6 wins, I go down 100 ranks. And it seems like the climb is fairly impossible at this point. But I don't know. I'm sure we're just doing something wrong. All right, though. Back to here. Let's just sell off this cove at this point, right? I think we have enough money to make it the rest of the way. I want to get the 5 stack of chocolate bars here. Keep getting up that max health. It might have been a spot to where 15 regen isn't that bad, but from this point forward, I kind of want to take the good guaranteed hits, and I really like the chocolate bars there. It's like, if you're getting 15 regen, you have to last 10 seconds to make it worthwhile, as opposed to 150 health, and so the health is probably almost always better if you have infinite money like we do. But with these things are so expensive, man. Spending 8 gold to get 4 attack. I guess we have the money to do it.
Enjoy your purchase.
We gotta get good at some point, right?
Happy to make a sale.
We just sold off our cove. We got all these fresh dollars. gotta just come out and spend them, I guess. What do we got here? Shields, income, citrus, poison, or damage. Let's keep stacking up the damage. All right. Another Vanessa round. I don't know. We got our boat up to 285. That's like 285 times 8 in terms of the damage immediately coming out on each attack. So that's a pretty healthy chunk of damage. So we got the haste on our boat, but he got the slow on our boat. I think we'll be okay if we can sustain through the health loss on these charge items. No. I thought it might come to that. His shiny blunderbuss is what I was counting on needing to make it through, but we took the big percentage damage hit and survived. Made it shortly after that. All right, good stuff. So here, no need to upgrade Crow's Nest. We already have the 100% crit on our flagship, so we'll skip the medium item place. Just take the guaranteed good stuff in the chocolate bars. I dig it. Curio, definitely glad to go shop there. This has been we haven't seen a curio since like day 3, day 4. This is just such a good shop. Got cooldown reduction, crit that we don't need but does work on the catfish, weapon, and the thing. Fairly weak set on the first page. Alright, let's start selling this stuff off. How does this work? Let's just get rid of pop snappers. The build is what it is at this point. We'll just keep it as is. Put the crit on the catfish. That looks good. Got to be careful with Spiked Buckler. It's very easy to fuck up. It would try to enhance the catfish, and so glad to get that moved. Now we've got haste to put onto the sextant. Weapon. Let's see. Weapon. 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 And then the poison. Very good stuff. So let's see. Sell off these weapon things. Get our silencer back in. We want to put the spider bonus onto the flagship. So yeah, it's at like 300 damage. Each hit doubles to 600 4 times. Be 2400 damage on each activation. It's on a 4.4 second cooldown at the moment. And then hopefully we can get it to be auto hasted at the beginning. The past 2 battles it was hasted at the beginning, so we're due to due to miss. We're due to miss. Let's see if we can take down this round, though. I think we're okay here. This is kind of a scary opponent since he does so much big burst damage at the end of the day. But getting our first hit in, immediately taking his health down. Easier than expected.
See that plank?
What do we got? Soul of the District. Big old bunch of money. And now, I'm not going to look it up, but I'm pretty certain that if you put turbo on the sextant, it just hastes stuff at the beginning. I know that's what Star Chart does. I think that's also what sextant does. I think that's okay. Well, that's not what we need to do, right? We need to just take Radiant and overwrite Toxic. Like that has to just be way more important than like the haste at the start of the round. I think that's okay. So here we'll take the max health. Don't need weapons, don't need large items. Skills turns up. Hopefully we can get this guaranteed haste at the beginning of the battle. Here's the Aquatic Rush. I think that's where we want to be. What is this? Burn to freeze. Large item crit. Yeah, perfect. Okay. We've managed to get to that spot to where we can definitely convert to 10 wins. And so this is where it gets scary in the sense that the opposing builds get to be so good, right? We've maxed out with a bunch of enchants and stuff. You can see how shiny his board is. He's got a bunch of diamonds and shit out here, and so definitely losable rounds, but we killed him before he got his first item activation. That's the way that's the way you're looking to do it. Okay. Let's fuck him up, fam. So what do we got? Heal effects. We can put that on the silencer. That's going to essentially put heal onto the flagship. Shitty amount of heal. Just getting 10 per shot doesn't really cut it, but is what it is. now we can continue on. Take the chocolate bars for the guaranteed good stuff. I'm going to come in and fight Boss Haro this round. The difference here is the Octopus gives 5 experience, the Volcus Enforcer only gives 3. And so I think the 1 experience difference might be worth just chasing after Assault Focus. When any non-weapon item is used, slow it for 2 seconds. We just break the game with how fast we boomed him. I think we broke the game. Rip the Bazaar. Rip the Bazaar. It says, Bust, you're dealing too much damage too fast. Boss Haro can't handle it. Alright, let's see how we fix this. Alright, I had to restart the game, but we won the round. Pick up Katana. Is what it is. So what do we got next? Sec shield, bunch of garbage, damage out of the sharpening stone. Sounds good to me. Let's move through here as quick as we can. We're kind of on autopilot at this point, but I think we can go to medium items. Like nothing there offered up shops that we really wanted, so we're just gonna come in and pick up all these weapons. Spend 16 gold for the 4 damage. Call it a day. We're not gonna spend all this money anyways. I don't think. Doesn't seem like we're in danger of spending it all. Up next, I think we want to pick the damage out of the temporary boost, the plus 25 attack onto the flagship. Seems a little bit better than just rolling the dice on a rando small and medium item shop. You can just take the guaranteed good stuff at this point. Those small incremental upgrades don't matter nearly as much at the late stage of this game. So what do we got? Big Adelatto build. Throws off the scaling of the flamethrower. Hopefully we just get a kill before that gets to do anything. Reasonable freezes coming out. Alright, there's the big flame hit. I think we need 1 more blast. 2 more blasts. Fuck. So close. So close. Damn. Thought we were going to snake this one out. But that's exactly, you know, why. I like to end this a little earlier. He's got Lifesteal Regal Blade. He had 2 weapons with Deadly, and then he had the gold flamethrower at the end. It's just so easy to get to these late game rounds to where your opponent's like, oops, you know, I've had all these extra shops. I got to purchase all this extra stuff. And it's not to say our build was bad at the end of the day, but we still have this like bronze pufferfish out here with the silver silencer. We didn't get to pick up any of the real top end like charge things like flurry of fists, and when you get to attack you charge and stuff. And so I'm happy with where we landed, right? This is kind of like the New Year's recovery. We woke up on New Year's Day, we pounded some Gatorade, and we ate some greasy food, wore off that hangover, and made it through the day, right? You got to be happy with that performance. With how this thing turned out, with having like no weapons at the end of day 2 and starting off like 0 and 3 and managing to find a fiery cutlass to turn things around, it's kind of like that hangover day, right? You wake up and feel like shit, but you get that greasy spoon food in your belly, you get a nap in, and then the hangover is worn off. And while you didn't get, you know, the maximum effort out of your day, you got to say that your day was good enough. And so, you know, I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out, granted with how poorly it started at the beginning. And as I mentioned somewhere in the middle of the video, being curious about how the win structure is actually going to pan out in ranked legend whenever they put the official system in place. This is the kind of game as to where, you know, a lot of payoff really comes from how this game progressed, right? The thing that really can kind of separate you as a diamond player to legend, or a dumpster legend to mid-legend, and mid-legend to top-tier legend, is kind of games like this, as to where it would have been a very easy game to start off like 0-3 with the Cutlass, and then finish the game like 1-6 and just be done. But we were able to kind of navigate through this, you know, not get discouraged when those early rounds went poorly, not get discouraged when no like immediate and obvious build paths were showing up, not getting discouraged at the beginning when we were at the Tent Master battle and just couldn't win, and then still being able to salvage it and turn it into what appears to be a winning run, even though it wasn't the full 10. We did get to that kind of 7-win mark that appears to be the official win mark at this point of the day. And finding yourself being able to convert this style of game from complete dumpster fire into a barely win, is nice and well and strong. It's something we hope to push more of in the future. And so, good stuff. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bust and We. Thank you for being here.